All right, we are ready to finish up this project. So what I'd like to do now is add some stainless steel to our appliances. I'm going to use my magnifying glass to zoom in. All right, I'm going to do the fridge, the stove, and the sink. Hopefully I can get them all in there. All right, background. Always go to background to select. Hold down Shift. Let's see what that is selecting. I suppose you could get really detailed here and select in each one of these if you want to. For the sake of the video, yeah, I'm just going to do it. What happens when you're a designer, you're a perfectionist. There's no getting around it. Right. So I'm just holding down Shift, using my magic wand to get all these little pieces. And then we're going to go ahead. That's why I didn't want to do it, because if you accidentally hit one of those lines, and if you hit something and it becomes part of your selection and you don't want it to, you can just do Control-Z, because just like any other program, Control-Z will always go back and undo. So now I'm going to go ahead and open the stainless steel that I chose. Here it is. I'm going to open it. Just going through the same steps that we've done before. Edit, define pattern. Click back on my kitchen again. I'm going to start a new layer. Call it appliances. And let's use our paint bucket, change from foreground to pattern, and then pick the pattern we want. And here we go. Now I left out a little piece there. So to go back and add it, I have to go back to background and use my magic wand to click on those little pieces. I'm gonna have to zoom in so I can really see what I'm doing here. And then I go back to stainless, or not stainless, appliances. There we go. Let's zoom out and see how this looks. Alrighty, looking good. I want to be able to see the whole thing. Okay, here's where it gets exciting. Now comes the best part. So I'm just going to Control D to deselect everything. So what I'm going to do now is the best part, which is drop shadows. Find your floor layer and grab it and pull it down so that it goes. I'm going to have to do it one by one here. I want it to be at the bottom of my stack. Pull bar stools up. The reason I want floor at the bottom, except for background layers you see is locked and it's always at the bottom, and then floor. Let me go up to the top. Walls don't cast a shadow, so I'm going to ignore them, but countertops do. So let's go to the countertop layer and just click on the actual layer itself and click on FX and go to drop shadow. And you're going to get a little dialog box, which of course you can just click and hold and move around so you can see on here what's happening. And if you can't see what's happening, make sure that your preview box is checked so you can see what's going on. So we're going to pick an angle, first of all. I pretty much always go with 45, but you can do whatever you think looks good. And then if you can kind of pull this out, you'll see your shadow start to emerge. I think I usually do these at like 30 each. Let's see, does that seem like too much? It seems like way too much. Oh, because I said 330. 30, 30, 30 usually looks pretty good. You can see we're getting a little bit of, I really want it to have a little bit more of a sharper edge. You're the artist, you can kind of do what you want here. I don't think I love 45, I think I want it to be more like in that angle, which would be 135. I like that better. So let's see, I'm gonna make these numbers that I can remember. 25, 20, 25, 20, and 10. In case I need to remember those numbers, those are the ones that I like. I'm gonna say okay. So you can see it makes a cast shadow, which is awesome. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to glass and do it. And go to drop shadow. It should automatically, yep, fill in the same angle and numbers. Awesome. The only problem is now what I've got going on is I have my countertop casting a shadow onto my glass right here. So that's an issue because what would probably happen is a typical countertop height is 30 inches, but a typical bar height is 42 inches. So this would actually be above it. So I'm just going to pull my glass above my countertop and it should get rid of that issue. Let's go to the next one, bar stools. We've got two of them. We've got bar stools and bar stools. Copy. Just going to do that, even though you don't see it too much because it's underneath the glass. It's still nice. Say okay. Let's see, upper cabinets. Upper cabinets, we need to pull up so that it will be above the countertops. So let's go up here. Well, most of them aren't really showing. It's okay. Because of the angle. So you can play around with this stuff as much as you like. And then appliances. Our appliances, we want to pull up above our countertops because it had that weird shadow. And of course, the fridge is going to be higher. It's going to be taller than the countertop. So we want to do that. And I think that's about it. I think we're good. Okay, so now we have a beautiful floor plan. It's realistic. It's lovely. We like it. Hopefully you like it. You can even do some stuff like, you know, if you feel like your floor is too intense, you could always change the opacity, make it a little bit lighter. Let's do it. I like that better. I feel like the floor was super intense. Anyway, get something you like, and then what we're going to do is save it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to save another option that you can turn in. So right now this is saved as a PSD, which means it's saved as a Photoshop file. It has all the different layers, it has all the different information, and you can go in and edit this stuff whenever. But now I'm going to save another version, and I'm going to save it as how you will turn in your assignment. So what we're going to do is a save as, and I am going to save it as a JPEG. So I'm going to change this to this one right here, JPEG. And I'm going to say save. And quality 8 is good. You really don't need anything higher than that. If you were going to print this and you know, print it out and you wanted it to look really beautiful, maybe you'd save it as a 12, but 8 is fine. I'm just going to say okay. Now I'm going to do a couple things to this JPEG file. So I'm going to go ahead and close my PSD because I want to just save it the way it was. Oops. I got to go open my JPEG file. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so here's my JPEG file. So you'll see, first of all, it flattened our layers. So I can't go back and move around my layers or edit just one little thing. That's why we saved the PSD file. So you always have that, so that you can change stuff if you want. So this flattened our layers. And the reason it does that is so that we can get a smaller file. You'll see that your PSD file is bigger. And so it's difficult to, for example, email it to somebody. So let's also check on the size of this. So let's take a look. If you go to image size, it's going to give you some more information. So right now, you can see that our file is almost 4 megs, which is pretty big. So we can make some changes. The first thing I'm going to do is change the resolution. 192 pixels an inch is not ridiculous. It's a good size resolution for most things, especially if you're going to print. If you're going to print, you may want to go as high as 300 pixels per inch. But for anything that's digital, it's just wasted. There's no reason for it to be that big. So 72 is the standard size. It just doesn't need to be any bigger than that. And you'll see these other numbers just automatically changed as well. Okay, so we're going to hit OK. And now we are done. So let's just go ahead and end this now. You have your file complete and you have your file ready to turn in as a JPEG into your homework. So I hope you enjoyed doing this. Photoshop's really exciting and we are only scratching the surface.